Hi, this is Eric Martin from Board Game Geek, and I'm here with James Delozio from Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast.
Hasbro, yes.
Hasbro, actually. Okay. We are here looking at a prototype, non-finished version of Magic the Gathering strategy board game.
Yes.
And hoping you could give an overview here. Player count, playing time. We know you mentioned before scheduled release, planned release for Gen Con 2015.
Yeah, we're very excited. First off, so Magic the strategy board game. This is a 2 to 5 player game.
Okay.
And it's a tactical miniatures war game. So the big idea here is that as a Magic player, I love the idea that we're bringing allies into the battle as planeswalkers, and then that we get to bring creatures and cast spells in front of us. So really what we're doing here is bringing them to life. Okay.
And with 2 to 5 players, each of us, I mean, the magic number of 5 for
right,
Magic.
Of course, yeah.
Everyone is going to be one color in particular, or
yes. So everyone will have you'll choose a planeswalker at the start of the match, and the planeswalker will have access to that color mana, right? So each planeswalker will have a card deck that'll have spells that will interact with the creatures that your planeswalker will summon.
Okay.
What's your favorite color in Magic?
Green.
Green. Excellent. So, our green planeswalker is Nissa. So Nissa has a deck of spells that allow you to pump creatures up temporarily and mess with your toughness and your defense and mess with movement, which is kind of fun. It's actually it's a blast thinking about Magic in a 3-dimensional sense, because we can think about, like, what does green range feel like? What does green movement feel like? Which is kind of fun.
So we got Jace, we got
Jace,
Chandra.
we have Chandra, we have Liliana over here as well. And these are the 4 that we have today at Essen, and White still hasn't been announced yet, but we're looking forward to revealing that to you guys. So if you like Nissa, then you'll enjoy the Forest Elementals and Elven Archers that she's going to bring onto the battlefield. Again, the game is 2 to 5 players, and at the start of the game, you'll only have your planeswalker on the battlefield. Okay. And you'll start in one of the back spaces. This scenario is for 2 or 4 players, and I would start on, you would take Nissa and put her in the back row, and then you can summon one or both of her squads up to 5 spaces away at the start of the game. And then once you have additional squads out, you can choose to take your turn with either Nissa or one of those squads. Okay. And on your turn, you'll move and attack with the squad. You know, you'll get in there and brawl it if you have a melee squad, and you'll try and pepper and dance around if you have a ranged squad. Okay. And you'll be casting spells. So spells from the original game. I assume these are spells for these are spells exactly designed for Magic the Strategy board game.
Okay.
And obviously the reason is that Magic cards themselves come with a whole list of interesting choices to make. But in order to translate it into the board game, we felt that having the flavor of Magic games in these cards would allow us to get the play to feel right. For example, you're familiar with the card Unsummon.
Yes.
So Unsummon in regular Magic, of course, would bounce a creature to either your hand or your opponent's hand. Unsummon in our game does a similar thing. It says target a squad figure, which is a non-planeswalker figure, within a range of a blue planeswalker, and then return that squad to the player's reserve. So it's a bounce spell, and we could call it Unsummon because that's kind of what it is, but you see how the Magic card would kind of be a bit of a misnomer here.
Yes.
So these come with their own card decks. There's 12 cards in each for each color, and all 5 colors are in the game.
Okay. What's the goal? We didn't actually mention that. Are we just trying to eliminate the other planeswalker?
Yes. It's interesting. In the rulebook, we're going to have scenarios for 2 to 5 players, and the goal typically might be eliminate the opposing team's planeswalker, and you'll do that by doing enough damage to in excess of their life. And another goal might be to control a territory or region of the board for a certain number of time. That's still in development, but we'd really like to make it so that you have a few different ways to win, just like in Magic, how
Yes.
All paths lead to Rome, but you have to figure out what's your way of getting there.
Okay. What about these are for the? What are these special cards? Maybe show off some of these.
So, in addition to the spell cards, we also have army cards. These are your stat sheets. So, in order to tell you how the figures work when they're on the battlefield, we have their abilities and their stats here. So, as you can see, each figure card will have an illustration, of course, and then some life. It'll have an attack and a defense number next to it, which is power and toughness, right? So in this game, our combat will be determined by our dice. 6-sided dice, 2 shields, 3 swords, and 1 blank. And you'll be rolling that to simulate, creatures battling each other and planeswalkers battling each other. The card also has rules text for special abilities. Right now, we're working with some really fun ones. In this edition of the game, of course, this could change. Death Touch is here, which is exciting.
Yeah, you have to have those touch points, otherwise, why have it be magic?
Yeah, exactly. We're really having fun playing with the fun keywords and core mechanics of Magic in that sense.
Okay. Transforming them, although I guess just sometimes you don't have to, I guess. Yeah. I mean, Death Touch, you can immediately make sense of what it would mean in this type of game.
Right. So. Yeah. Some of them we've loved so much in the Magic card game that we wanted to figure out how we could get it. And an example of that is First Strike. First Strike says that if you roll more crossed weapons than the player, the figure has remaining life, they don't roll defense dice. Okay. Which gets you that same feeling of first striking 2-1, killing a 2-2 before, as damage is being dealt. But so it's not exactly that, but you can get immediately when first strike happens, you're like, that makes sense in a Magic sense.
You mentioned off camera before that the lead designer is Craig Van Ness.
Yes.
And other designers involved within the group?
Yes, I'm working on it with Craig at Hasbro, and there's Ethan Fleischer at Wizards of the Coast who's working on it as our West Coast folk.
How did it originate? Like, what was the purpose? I mean, Magic, of course, is like a gold mine for you guys. I mean, I know that's definitely something you don't want to mess with. The sales have just been increasing year upon year.
Yeah, it's a very successful game for a number of reasons, and all of the reasons that we got excited about making a board game are the reasons that players are excited about the card game. We think that this could be a good opportunity to make Magic more mass market and appeal to a wider audience. Magic, really great.
Okay. Anything else I didn't ask about that people should know ahead of time? I mean, are these figures final, or are they just demo here that we're showing?
These are all demo, and the card art and the card layout and all of that, and copy and all of that stuff is still being worked on.
Yes.
But these sculpts are close to final sculpts, and we were really excited with these. We had a blast getting these ready, and we've gotten some good feedback today on them.
Okay. And of course, with Magic or with other things in general, it naturally leads itself to expansions and other sorts of things based on what's possible. Like, the Magic world's 20 years old. It's got a lot of room to grow or explore.
Yes, we're looking into that.
Does the terrain? Is there other terrain as well that you mentioned here?
Actually, that's a good point. Let's take a second to look at the board. So, what's fun about this is we have modular board pieces. So we have 6 boards in the game, and we'll still be messing with the layout. But the idea is that you can combine it in various different ways to get different scenarios, right? We have water spaces, which will introduce terrain rules, and we also have some height and pieces that add dimension to the terrain. And we also have spaces objectives and glyphs that affect where you want to be on the board, and different that add kind of an element of control before you start to really get into the beat of the battle.
So, all right. Well, thanks very much for the overview.
Thank you.
And we look forward to Gen Con.
Thanks.